Greetings, Chris Fiola here with the April 11th edition of the Perfecting Equilibrium vlog. This week we're taking kind of a side road on our journey to building Virtual Graduate Student, our locally hosted large language model, or AI, that will work as a writer's researcher's assistant tuned to your data and your writing styles. The side trip here is that it was clear after working with some of these AI tools that weren't hosted locally that my 8 or 9-year-old desktop computer, which had been happily chugging along with everything from productivity apps to Photoshop to games, was not chugging along happily once we introduced AI tools. And we saw that with some of the Photoshop tools especially, where you could go out and grab a cup of coffee while they were working. So over the weekend I rebuilt it. I went from a 6 processor 12 thread, I should say 6 core processor 12 thread AMD Ryzen 7 second generation to the latest Raphael generation AMD Ryzen 9 12 core 24 thread. I think more importantly in this instance, I went from 16 gigs of RAM, which was more than enough 8 to 10 years ago and quite adequate these days for anything that doesn't involve this kind of AI, to 64 gigs of RAM. I decided to just jump all the way up in one shot. I also upgraded to a much better, faster set of SSDs, which I am going to put into a RAID 1 data backup thing. I'm still working on getting this thing all organized and running. One thing I did not upgrade at this point was the video card, and the reason there is that the recommendation for video cards for AI work specifically is at least 16 gigs of VRAM, if not 24. Now, I should specify that the reason that NVIDIA stock has gone crazy is because AIs tend to lean much heavier on video cards, despite not being video, because they have massive parallel processing capabilities and many more cores than normal CPUs. And so that's important long term, but for right now, the prices of video cards, while better than they are a year ago, or even more so 2 years ago when there were shortages and crazy prices, even crazier I should say, have come down some, but are still in the psychotic range. For example, the highest end card available is the NVIDIA 4090, which is selling for a penny under $2,000 for just the video card. I'm not making it up. $19.99 and 99 cents. Insane. So even the cheapest 16 gig video cards are hundreds and hundreds of dollars. The one that was semi-reasonable is the Intel Arc, which was going for, on sale, $299. And when I read the reviews, it said the stability issues and incompatibility with high-end software have mostly been solved, and I'm not spending $300 on something until it's like entirely solved. So, and the NVIDIA and AMD Radeon cards that have 16 or more gigabytes are still in the $600 range and up. So I'm just going to wait on that upgrade. In the meantime, let's shrink this down here and take a look at Photoshop. And what I'm going to do is an experiment that we did before, where we got in here and let's see, drew a selection box, and I'm going to pull that back up here. Well, the problem is I think I can keep that running on top here, but we'll take a look here. See, okay. It's going to bounce underneath again when I do this. And yes, I already agreed to this. All right. Let's see. A Steampunk workshop. And as you can see here, it's much, much faster than what we were getting before with and it's barely ticking into the memory or the CPU. Okay, just get on with it.
Final result.
Oh my goodness. Stop popping up. As you can see, I'm still installing all the software here, and so Adobe is insisting on throwing up 10,000 little helpful tips, none of which are really that helpful. So there you go. As you saw, we barely ticked into the memory. The CPU hardly got warmed up, but it hardly does. Here's an interesting thing here. Let's see. Do I still have the? No, I guess I don't. Let's see if I can pull this up here. This is the Armory Crate software that comes with my Asus motherboard, and it shows you where the cores are running, and they're really running cool. And I mean, some of them are just barely on here. 600 megahertz. I mean, geesh. Anyway. So we're almost at 7 minutes here, and I try to keep these down to 5. So that's it for this week. Next week we'll start installing H2O GPT and feeding it local data. So, or I should say training data, including local data. So have a great week. Feel out.